Namaste friends. In this video, we are going to discuss on public accountability, transparency and open governance. In chapter 2.1, we already discussed public accountability. So let's discuss on transparency. Transparency refers to not hiding or concealing anything, making all transactions and procedures publicly accessible to all concerned. Transparency exists when fundamental details are clearly presented and understood by all, such as what activities are being conducted, on what procedural basis, their objectives, duration, cost, and the balance between cost and benefit. Transparency is only effective when the public has easy access to information of public importance and the information is simple and understandable. Here is one quotation from Robert A. Dahl. Government operations must be sufficiently transparent to the public and simple enough for ordinary citizens to easily understand what the government is doing. Transparency is crucial to ensure public accountability and answerability. Let's discuss on importance or necessity of transparency. First one is purity, which promotes cleanliness in administration and controls corrupt activity. Next is control, which acts as basis to prevent undesirable activities in public administration. Next is ownership, which enhance citizens' sense of belonging, governmental legitimacy, and public participation. Next is balance, which helps maintain check and balance in public life. Next one is quality. Through open dialogue, it improves quality, efficiency, and effectiveness in policy formulation, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation. Next one is ethics. Ethics in the sense of administrative ethics that compels administrators to remain ethical. Last not the least is reform. It serves as a modern strategy for public sector reform, identifying areas requiring administrative improvement. Transparency complements public accountability, which is a prerequisite for democracy's success and serve as protection during crisis. Limitation of transparency. Maintaining transparency in public administration is core democratic goal. However, government cannot and should not make all information public. Some matters remain undisclosed temporarily, while others stay permanently confidential. Based on democratic practice and Nepal's Right to Information Act 2064, confidential information can be divided into two categories. One is information to be kept strictly confidential, like which seriously jeopardize the sovereignty, integrity, national security, public peace, stability, and international relation of Nepal, which directly affect the investigation, inquiry, and prosecution of a crime, which seriously affects on protection of economic, trade, or monetary interest, or intellectual property, or banking, or trade privacy, which directly jeopardize the harmonious relationship subsist among various castes and communities, which interferes on individual privacy and security of body, life, property, or health of a person. Next one is information to be kept confidential for a limited time, like immature information where proceedings are ongoing and decision pending, draft budget, proposed custom or tax rate not yet finalized, information that may obstruct the implementation of law, information that may cause undue benefit or harm to an individual or institution, business secrets. This information can be temporarily make confidential. Here are the principle of transparency. First one is national interest. Second is social harmony and integration. Third is information officer principle. Fourth is principle of confidentiality. Five is security principle. Sixth is principle of duty and accountability. Here are 5 golden rules to ensure transparency and accountability. Number 1, transparency and accountability must go together. Number 2, they should be clearly defined by law. Number 3, the law should specify which matters are open to public and which are limited to authorities. Number 4, clear and objective standards must be set. Number 5, an effective grievance hearing mechanism must be established. Talking about the provisions ensuring transparency in Nepal, in Constitution, the preamble ensures full press freedom. The Constitution envisions an open and democratic society. As a fundamental right, there is right to communication, right to information, and right to privacy. Under directive principle and policy of the state, in Part 4, there is policy of making public administration transparent, national security policy ensuring accountability of all security agencies, laws, rules, and regulation. Right to Information Act 2065 and Rules 2065 is major law. In this law, following provision are there, like all information except those legally declared confidential must be open. Information must be regularly updated and published. Procedure for obtaining information are provided in this law. Appointment of spokesperson and information officers also there. The provision of spokesperson in Good Governance Act and information officer provision in Right to Information Act, right to appeal and claim compensation if information is denied. The work procedure of getting information must be simple and transparent. Good Governance Management and Operation Act 2064 and its rules 2065 have following provisions like transparency as a basis for administrative operation. Decision making must remain transparent. Provisions for public hearing and citizen charter. Talking about the institutional arrangement, we have Parliament with two houses, House of Representative, National Assembly, and their parliamentary committee. We have Office of Prime Minister and Council of Minister. Under OPMCM, there is National Vigilance Center, various ministries, National Information Commission, subject specific ministry publication, websites, public hearing, grievance handling, social audit, civil society, and independent media group. These are the institutional provisions. Status of transparency in Nepal. Some progress has been achieved. The constitution has guaranteed right to information as fundamental right. Following the enactment of Right to Information Act and rules, improvements have occurred in information flow. With the Good Government Act, most government bodies have started publishing regular report and disseminate information via website and online platforms. However, numerous weaknesses and inconsistencies overshadow this achievement, like political parties' lack of transparency. They do not publicly disclose their income, expenses, and election expenditure. In formal sense, they do, but that does not reflect the reality of expenditure in election. Cabinet decisions are sometimes unnecessarily kept secret and sometimes prematurely leaked and later changed. Constitutional and Judicial Council lacks openness. The bureaucratic chain of accountability is indirect, affecting the transparency. Hierarchical decision making undermines the procedural transparency and citizen compensation. Record management is weak, information creation is neglected, and in this Gen Z movement, many records are destroyed. That is a big setback. Civil servants are not efficient in dissemination of information. Distribution of government aid, donation, award, medical benefits lacks transparency. The government has not made public the grounds of withdrawing legal cases. The Information Commission and related departments are weak. Many public institutions fail to conduct timely audit. Officials take an oath of secrecy but not of transparency. NGOs are also not transparent in their operation, though they are big advocate of good governance, but their own transaction is not transparent. That is the irony. Suggestion to promote transparency: legally enforce political party financial disclosures and strengthen their commitment. Of course, they make the formal disclosure, but the disclosure should reflect the reality. Make all cabinet and ministerial policy decisions public and publish them periodically. Ensure transparency in the functioning of Constitutional Council, Judicial Council, and similar bodies. The appointment should be transparent. Make bureaucrats directly accountable to citizens through mechanisms such as social audit panels or by transferring officers into autonomous executive agencies accountable to Parliament. Implement process mapping to ensure procedural transparency. Use modern information technology for record management. Train civic servants in transparency and information management. Publicize the criteria and rationale of aid, donation, award, and medical benefit. Disclose reason for government case withdrawals or pardons. Strengthen the Information Commission and related institution. Enforce timely audit of public institution. Administer both secrecy and transparency oath for official, not only a oath of secrecy. Bar political officials without asset declaration from re-election or promotion. Prohibit NGO renewal until audits are completed. Generate public pressure to promote transparency related actions. Let's discuss on open governance. Talking about the concept of open governance, the open governance is a concept under which citizens have the right to access information necessary to monitor the government and participate in governance process. Although the government is the procedure of public information, citizens are its consumers. Hence, information should be made openly accessible. The concept of open governance is an evolved form of transparency, rejecting excessive governmental secrecy and demanding proactive publication of information. The concept aims to improve public service delivery, ensure easy public access to information, and promote equitable distribution of governmental benefits. In Nepal, the Right to Information Act 2064 includes provision of proactive disclosure, and recently the concept of over government data has also been adopted. According to the Old Justice Project WJP Open Governance Index under Rule of Law Index, Nepal ranked 66th among 142 countries, which scores of 0.51. This is the 2024 data. Let's know how Old Justice Project WJP calculate Open Government Index. First one is publicized law and governmental data. The first dimension of WJP Open Government Index measures whether the basic law and information on legal rights are publicly available, presented in a plain language, and are made accessible in all languages used by a significant segment of the population. This dimension also measures the quality and accessibility of information published by the government in print or online, which called active transparency, and whether administrative regulation, draft or legislation, administrative decisions, and high court decisions are made accessible to public in timely manner. Not only public, but also public in timely manner. Next one is right to information aspect. Whether request of information held by government agency are granted, assuming the information is public record. It also measures if these requests are granted within a reasonable time period, if the information provided is pertinent and complete, and if requests of the information are granted at a reasonable cost and without having to pay a bribe. This dimension also measure whether public are aware of this right to information and whether relevant records such as budget figures of government officials, ombudsman reports, and information relative to community projects are accessible to the public upon request. Third one is civil participation aspect. The third dimension measures the effectiveness of civic participation mechanism, including the protection of the freedom of opinion and expression, assembly and association, and right to petition the government. It also measures whether people can voice concerns to various government officials and members of legislature, and whether government officials provide sufficient information and notice about decision affecting the community, including opportunities for citizen feedback. On the part of the complaint mechanism, which is the fourth dimension, which measures whether people are able to bring specific complaint to government about provision of public service or the performance of government officials in carrying out their legal duties in practice, and how government officials respond to such complaints. It also measures whether people can challenge governmental decision before another government agency or judge. So we can say the fourth pillar of the open government can be the publicized law and governmental data, right to information, civic participation, and status of complaint mechanism. In US, there is open government policy, which included four key points. All government information should be published on website and disseminated online. Improve the quality of government information. Develop an institutional culture of open government. Create effective frameworks for implementing open government policies in practice. What are the challenges of open governance? In political part, full implementation of right to information law is politically challenging due to lack of commitment or opaque practices among political parties. In security aspect, balancing openness of government information with national security concerns remains difficult. In the part of capacity, technical expertise and record management capability are inadequate. In the part of civil society is not yet strong, mobilized, or capable enough to demand openness and make full use of open data. We can say transparency, participation, and collaboration are the basic aspects of open governance. Transparency enables citizens to know what the government is doing and enhance accountability. Participation allows citizens to contribute ideas and expert advice in policy making, possible only when information is openly available. In the part of collaboration, cooperation among different level of government and between government, private and non-governmental sector enhance overall effectiveness. How to achieve open governance? There might be two major strategies. First one is formulate an open governance plan. Second is develop, implement a digital strategy, which include information centric approach and customer centric approach. With this, we conclude this video's discussion. Feel free to comment and put your thought. Thank you very much.